Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another episode of Double Take. Today I'm going to look at 2 more Deaf Crocodile releases. Yes, I know, 2 more Deaf Crocodile releases. But these are 2 animated films. One from Romania and one from Hungary. Now, some of the other Deaf Crocodile films that I've done reviews on, I would implore you to go out and buy, because they're jaw-droppingly good, like Sampo and Song of Tsar Sultan. So these 2 I wouldn't necessarily say immediately go and buy. But if perhaps there's a sale on, if you see them at good price, I would still recommend them. I would recommend one to possibly go out and buy immediately, but they're certainly both well worth a look. So we have from Romania, Deaf Crocodile Spine number 8, and it's The Son of the Stars, with the lovely slipcover, of course, the alternate artwork, the background. So this is from 1988, and this is from the same people who directed Delta Space Mission, which is also released by Deaf Crocodile. I think that was 1983. I don't have that one yet, but it is on the way. And again, you get a lovely little booklet. This is a 4K scan. And again, you've got an interview with the co-director, hosted by Dennis Bartok from Deaf Crocodile. You've got a commentary track by Sam Dane, who does seem to almost be doing all the commentaries for Deaf Crocodile. And as I say, you get that lovely booklet. The film itself, again, both of these are just round about the 80-minute mark. So that's The Son of the Stars. And then pretty much the latest, there is one for pre-order, but this is Deaf Crocodile 14, and this is Heroic Times. Just look at that lovely artwork. That's the reverse artwork. And the back. And again, the interior artwork with this stunning image. And again, this has essays and pictures of the actual creators. And again, just show you the internal artwork, because it is quite beautiful. There we go, if you can see that. So, when you talk about animated films nowadays, it's all Pixar and computer generated type stuff. But obviously there are different kinds of animation. The special features on Heroic Times, you've got a 4K restoration, commentary by Sam Dane. There's an essay by Jennifer Lind Barker. We get 3 shorts by Josef Giemes, who directed Heroic Times. Cortissimo, or Concertissimo even, from 1968, which is 3 minutes, which is quite wonderful. Parade from 1969, which is 5 minutes, and Funeral from 1970, which is 3 minutes, and you get an interview with one of the animators, moderated by Dennis Bartok, and you get a new video interview with Jorge Rudelli, who works for the Hungarian Film Archive. Again, moderated by Dennis Bartok, which is actually a fascinating conversation. as far as, you know, most of the Hungarian silents are lost. Silent films are lost. Obviously, stuff that was made during the wars kind of lost, but that's a fascinating interview. So we kind of have two films, two different art styles. So we'll talk about The Son of the Stars first, as that was released before Heroic Times. So this art style is very much like Ulysses 31, which I did videos on some years ago on this channel. So it's that kind of Saturday morning 80s animated film style. So things like Battle of the Planets, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Ulysses 31, Dungeons and Dragons. So it has that kind of art style. It's the story of a young boy, his mother and father, their computer called Bob, who are in space. They come across a distress beacon. We've all heard this before. Come across a distress beacon. Their spaceship is damaged. Both the mother and father go out to investigate and to repair the ship, leaving the little boy and Bob, the supercomputer. And I don't need to tell you what happens to the mother and father. And the young boy is left with supercomputer Bob. And they land on a planet, years pass, and it's really about the boy's adventures growing into a man and coming across all these different alien life forms and different planets, the challenges, the creatures he meets. Again, I'm not really going to go into plot, but the joy of the film is really, it's full of ideas, from telekinesis to telepathy. It has a real kind of sense of, you know, a journey. It's almost very much Homeric, but it has a wonderful soundtrack, lots of keyboards and Moogs. It's very Yes, and it's just a lovely little animated film. So again, I'm not going to go into all the plot points. It's just to experience, and it will put a smile on your face. You know, it does have serious concepts and big ideas, but it's just kind of wonderful. But as good as Son of the Stars is, Heroic Times for me is an amazing piece of work. Now you can see on this slipcover, it looks like an oil painting, and that's the art style. This film kind of meshes still life oil paintings with animation. So everything pretty much looks like an oil painting, and then something will move in the frame. The camera will move around the frame. It's just absolutely ravishingly beautiful. So The Son of the Stars is obviously set in the future. Heroic Times is set in the past. It's about two brothers, one who goes up in the world, one who is kind of left behind, even though he does have super strength. And it's his journey to try and get to, not necessarily the top, but kind of be in favour again amongst the king. It's the dreams of, again, it's about myth making, the dreams of being a hero, the reality of that, and if you sacrifice yourself for certain goals, certain dreams. What are you leaving behind? What are you missing out on? So again, even though it's a animated film, there's big serious things going on. This one does have scenes of battle that are quite impressive. They're not quite Chimes at Midnight or Ran, but they are very impressive. But be warned, there are like decapitations and things like that in it. There is a bit of blood, but again, it is a very mesmerising film, almost a hypnotic film, because you do get drawn into this world of living oil paintings. And again, this is just a click under 80 minutes, but it's just it's a sight to behold, really. Again, if all your animation is basically computer generated in Pixar and DreamWorks and all of that, this will be quite visually arresting. The film opens, again, you're pretty much thinking you're watching an oil painting, and then a little beetle is crawling up a blade of grass. It's just captivating, absolutely beautiful. These are subtitled, but there's also an English dub if you're that way inclined. But to be honest, perhaps The Son of the Stars, the dialogue is more important, but Heroic Times you could actually watch, silent, without subtitles, because it's just so beautiful. This has a different kind of score, so there's no Moogs and keyboards. This is a much more classical score, much more score of what you kind of expect with those medieval tales. But for an animated film, again, this Heroic Times does have some deep themes of isolation and sacrifice, and trying to find yourself, and again, discovering who you are, even if it clashes with what your ideal goals or what your idea of yourself actually is. So these are another two wonderful releases from Deaf Crocodile. Again, perhaps I wouldn't urge people to buy them at full price. And obviously, if you're not into the slipcovers, which, as I've said, I think on Chris Mohan's podcast, I'm not really a slipcover person, but the Deaf Crocodile slipcovers are really quite gorgeous. But obviously, they're cheaper if you don't get the slipcover. But if you want to see oil paintings coming to life, or if you want to get tripped out by space and the creatures therein and a supercomputer called Bob, you could do a lot worse than these two Deaf Crocodile releases. So please let me know in the comments if you've seen Heroic Times or The Son of the Stars and what you think of them, and hopefully you'll join me again for more videos. Promise they'll won't all be Deaf Crocodile reviews, but they might be. I've still got a few left to watch. So this is Solitude Ronin from Solitude Ronin Films, saying farewell.